I'm ready to listen, Lord. I've heard your call before. I'm ready to listen, Lord, right now. Are you all ready to listen right now? Huh? Oh, okay. Hi. Wow. So we're going to be looking at spiritual communication this week. But first I want to ask you, how many of you did your homework last week, used that handout for meditation? Oh, wow. Good. And I'll tell you so, Gary, wonderful. And I'll tell you that I actually had a few responses from people that said it helped them. So it's your homework again this week. So if you threw it away, we have another one for you. Okay. Spiritual truth. There is no separation in the divine. Everyone is equal. There's no strings attached. Every one of us are equal in God's eyes, right? And we're moving forward with that in our lives as we continue with understanding, insight, and how to take that and bring that into communication. So, I'm going to ask you to pretend with me today, okay? So put on your pretend hat, and we're going to have a film crew here. You see them back there behind me? Okay, good. Not these people. They can't go anywhere, but right here. And there's a director that has something to say to me, and here's what he's saying. Eileen, I do not like what you were thinking. In fact, your mind was a little bit in the gutter there. That wasn't good. So we're going to have to ask for a take 2. So stop the filming, and we're going in for a take 2. Oh my gosh, it was scary though. It was so scary for me because that guy or girl was in a big truck, and they were right up there, right up on my bumper, and scaring me, and I had no place to go. I know. But it doesn't matter. You can't think that way, okay? And if you do, you need to stop and you need to start over. Is my voice deep enough for you here? Yeah, okay. So, do you think you can do this again, Eileen? Yes. I'll do it. Wow. That guy was really in a hurry. I'm so glad I was able to keep my hands on the wheel because I didn't know where to go. I didn't know how to get out of his way. He was rushing so much, and then when he finally went past me, he gave me the finger. I'm going to make sure I didn't give the finger. And I'm just so happy that I was able to be okay. And I don't know why he was in such a hurry. That's really none of my business. But something was eating at him in some way where he needed to do that. That's what it means to go from, I can't stand this, I don't like what's happening to me, and if you just look at the world and the condition it's in right now, you can really get down, especially if you're watching the news. So what are we called to? We're called to something called understanding. Now, can you ever understand exactly how I feel? Say no. No. But you can have a spiritual understanding, and what that is really your spiritual intelligence, that ability to act with wisdom and compassion while maintaining your inner and outer composure, regardless of the circumstances. That's it. That's spiritual understanding. Charles Fillmore taught us this. There are 2 ways to get to understanding. One is by following the guidance of spirit that dwells within us, listening to our sacredness, right? And the other is to go blindly ahead and learn the hard way. Now, I know I've had to learn things the hard way. I still do. That knee-jerk reaction to something, that impulsiveness when I don't think before I act. Or I've had times in my life, and I know you have too, that you put your foot in your mouth and it's so far down your throat you can't get it out, and you wish you would have never said it, but there's absolutely no way that you can take it back. You just can't. The person's right in front of you. At least with this man in the truck, he didn't hear me. And I got a take two. How many times do we need a take two in our lives where we get in touch with ourselves? Last week I talked about the book that my son mentioned that I should tell all of you called You Can't Afford the Luxury of a Negative Thought. And by the way, 3 people ordered it. So I guess I better get it out and start reading it again. But we are powerful creatures. And what we do is we mimic the programming we got when we were little kids. Here's an innocent little baby right here. Only positive programming, right? Only positive programming. We have no idea as parents how we affect our children and how they hang on to this stuff that doesn't serve them. I think it's Emerson that said they're like corpses that hang on us, that we need to get rid of. So we have to let go. We have to let God be in charge. We have to use that spiritual intelligence that we have in times that are really distressful. We have to be able to give the benefit of the doubt to people. Just like I needed to give the benefit of the doubt to that person that was driving the truck. Have you ever been in this experience? You go into Publix, you only need 2 things. Okay. You're perusing everything, you're going, and I'm in a hurry. See, just like the guy or the gal in the truck, right? And you're racing up. You get the 2 things and you're racing up to the line and somebody beats you to it in the 10 or less item with 20 things. Okay. You have a thought, don't you? You have a thought. But you get a take 2, unless you screamed at the person. But what happens to us is we go on this automatic pilot, we go back into that mimicking programming that we learned so many years ago. It's like, who do they think they are? 20 things in a 10 line. Don't they know I'm in a hurry? Why didn't they look around and see that I only had 2 items and let me move up in line? Right? We do that unless we don't. And unless we realize we're always at choice. Are we going to always be upset about something? Are we always going to have something going on where we have to hang on to the stress of life? Or are we going to let go and enjoy being in the moment? Just being present, being in the moment. It takes practice, practice, practice. Unity is all about the practical application of spiritual principles, practice. Compassion, as Webster calls it, is concern for others. And communication is imparting or conveying successfully shared ideas. So spiritual communication is that deepening of that understanding, that deepening of, I don't know what's really going on for you, but I care. I care about you. I'll never know exactly what you're feeling, but I can be present for you through compassion, through caring. It's that deep listening to spirit. So what happens is, if we're loving somebody in communication, doesn't mean we're in love with them. We're not talking about that. We're talking about something so much deeper than that. We're talking about the very essence of that person. Meditation helps us get there, being able to be quiet and allow spirit to speak to us. That's what we're called to. We're called to remembering that. Charles Fillmore says again, he spoke again, and he said, spiritual understanding enables the consciousness to see and to feel spiritually. Spiritual understanding gives a clear insight into everything, and it remolds the mentality and inspires so that we can use the direction of God in our lives with self-control. What is your pattern of behavior? What do you do when things like that come up? Do you stop and think? I don't always, but I sure work on it. I think the only person that really gets the brunt of my jumping into things and not listening is, you can guess, right? Gary, right. I heard you murmur his name, that husband of mine. And you know, I just want to say something, I missed it before, in Proverbs. Listen to this, I love this. If you indeed cry out for insight and raise your voice for understanding, if you seek understanding like silver and reach for it as if it's a forbidden treasure, then you will understand and have reverence for finding the knowledge of God. So what Proverbs is saying, it's Proverbs 2, verse 3 to 5. What Proverbs is saying is, you should want understanding so much that it's like you mining for silver. You want it that bad. And it's almost like it's a forbidden treasure because it's out there, but it's like, how do I find that understanding when I need it? When you are able to find that, you finally have the knowledge of God within you. And you can use that. Use me, God. Didn't you sing that this morning, Suzanne? Use me. Use me. So what is your pattern of behavior? What do you do when something happens like that? When somebody cuts you off in traffic? And I know that's a common one people talk about, but I still know that people get upset no matter how hard they try because they don't like to be cut off in traffic. And what is it like when your life doesn't go exactly the way you want it? And what is it like when you hold on to stress because you can't forgive yourself or someone else, because you don't realize how important you are? See, that's what we talk about every week. You know, every week we say the same thing here. Did you know that? Just in different ways. Because we need it. Aren't we hearing this stuff out there all week long? I hope you're not listening too much, but if you are, it gets you down. You come here and we want to refill you, fill your vessel so that you can go out and continue to make a difference in the world. You are all light workers. You're all light workers. I don't know if you ever think of yourself that way, but who you are brings light into this world. Last month, I talked about that attachment that we have to the outcome of something the way we want it to be, and how we have to release that attachment. I also talked in that about stop expecting others to meet your needs. Stop it. It's only going to get you stressed out and upset. And then what happens is you play a right-wrong game within yourself and to that other person. And then nothing happens that you really want. Not in here. Not in that deeper understanding. Change your thought, change your life. Whenever you have a negative thought, as I mentioned last week, change it around to a positive one. That's who you are. The positive one is who you are. The negative one is that mimicking programming. I guarantee you. Now, there aren't many guarantees in life, but I'm going to actually guarantee you, and you can come back and get me if you want. That guarantee didn't work. No, it will work if you get in touch with who you are. Stay there. Come from a place of understanding in situations, meaning be compassionate and caring about somebody, even though you don't understand what's going on for them. It's actually none of your business. But if they call you in and want to share with you, you listen. You listen with compassion, you listen with love, but you have to do it for yourself first or it doesn't work. We have to stop beating ourselves up and start being present to ourselves so that we can be there for others. So I guarantee you, I'm going back to my guarantee here. If you live the truth that you know this week, if you let your actions speak of love and compassion and understanding, you're going to have a great week. I guarantee you will have a great week. And if you don't, it's up to you. I know one thing, I've just guaranteed something, and I work with a bunch of people here all week long. And I better do what I'm saying. Is that right, Kathy? I see you shaking your head. Okay. Yeah. This is what we're called to. This is what we talk about in one way or another every week. To help remind me, to help remind all of you, and all of you wonderful people out there that are watching right now, that we are made in the image and likeness of God. And if we can remember that, we can change our thought, and it's going to change our life. And so it is. Amen.